As you can see, I am back home and not on the road anymore. For those of you who are new here, I'm Waze. I'm a photographer, videographer based out of Chicago, and I just wrapped up my first tour with an artist. I was on the road for 6 weeks with Quinn 92, covering both photo and video. And this was something that I've wanted to do for years, pretty much ever since I shot my first concert. And it is nice to be home. It's kind of weird, but yeah, 6 weeks on the road and then finally being back home. I've been home for about 3 weeks, so kind of back in the swing of things, but also still trying to get back into a normal routine. And if you wanted to learn more about my transition in leaving my 9 to 5 to go on tour, I have my last vlog linked above. I talk a little bit more about my kind of background and how I got to this point here. Now, for the real reason you guys are here, we're going to talk about what gear I brought with me on a 6-week tour. And I did bring 2 bags, but I'm going to start with this one. This is the DB Journey Ramverk 26-liter backpack. It was a special edition, so you can't get this exact one anymore, but you can get their 26-liter or any other size backpack, but I do love the Ramverk. The only thing I actually don't like about this bag is it doesn't have like a drink holder. So yeah, I just spent a lot of time carrying water bottles, so that kind of sucked. But other than that, I love this bag. I love DB. I have a lot of their bags, from snow rollers to backpacks, everything in between. I love this company. I love what they stand for, and I think they have some of the coolest marketing out there. This is also the bag that I typically use when I shoot shows here in Chicago that I don't need all my gear for, because I can fit like pretty much everything that I need just in this one bag. But when I was on the road, I took 2 bags just because I had a lot more gear with me. So in it, I kept a lot of things, but first of all, I kept my M2 MacBook Pro. I've had this thing for years and it's still held up. I love it. I don't know when the data upgrade might come, but this thing is still my workhorse. I edited all the tour stuff on it, but I do keep that in my backpack at all times. Keep it here. Shout out Dustin, the Legends gang, Legends Media. I have this little pull tag. I just like it. I think it's a cool little addition to my bag, but I keep that MacBook in my backpack at all times. Inside this, I kept a few different things, but the first thing is I kept a insert from DB. It's their small insert. That was just more to hold things so it wouldn't be just loose running around in there. This first thing is the Black Rapid double harness, so I was able to hold 2 cameras with me at the same time. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the actual gear, but this thing was a lifesaver. I felt like a wedding photographer because I had like the dual shooter, like Western shit. That was dumb. I kept this thing in my backpack. I used it every day for shows, so this was great. Then I had my Beat Studio Pros. I love these things. I would use them for all my editing and videos and everything like that. The sound quality is amazing, and it was just great. I could kind of tune everything else out, but I love these and couldn't recommend these enough. With that being said though, I will have all of this stuff linked in the description below if you want to go check it out, just so you can upgrade your gear or do anything like that. But I will have most of it on my Amazon storefront, so it's all kind of like in one place. But if there are things that aren't on Amazon or I bought from a retailer like B&H, I'll have those linked individually in there as well. Moving on now to kind of the small insert that I was talking about. The big thing that I kept in here, mostly I wanted protection on it, is my Fujifilm X100VI. I love this thing. I got it back in April and I kept it more for like a BTS camera. I wouldn't shoot with it all the time, but some of the pics that I got with it on tour are just some of my favorites. It felt like it was taken on film, and that's why I got it. I have like 1 to 2 recipes that I kind of keep, but it allowed me to just like kind of shoot in a different way that I wouldn't just spray and pray like I normally do when it comes to concerts. But this was all the backstage stuff, so I definitely loved having this on the road with me. So I kept all my SSDs in here, both personal and the ones that I bought specifically for tour. I used the T9s from Samsung. I really like these. I've also used the T7s in the past. They're still great, but when you're editing log footage, you definitely need just that little bit of speed extra that you get with the T9 versus the T7. So this is definitely something that I would recommend picking up, and it also keeps you from bogging down your computer's memory by just storing it locally on the computer, because you're able to edit externally off of these. So definitely would recommend getting you some of these. T7s are a little bit cheaper. T9s, with Black Friday coming up, definitely stock up on these. One thing I also had in here is a CF Express reader. So this is just something that I'll get into a little bit more with the cameras, but it allowed me to dump footage from my cameras to my computer and then ultimately onto the SSDs. Also have just a few random other things in here, like these portable chargers from Anker. These things are awesome. This has like 4 charges for a phone in it, and I have another one that's just a single charge, but definitely something that you need on the road because you never know when something's gonna die, especially your phone, or it's going to be anything along the lines of like batteries or something like that. Now, as I was saying, I did keep a lot of like random other stuff in here like you would with a normal backpack. So some of that stuff like includes the dongle that I use for an SD reader to a phone. So this is just a SD card reader that goes into a USB-C, so I can just plug it straight in my phone. It allows me to get things quickly from an SD on my camera to my phone, so I can just either edit it in Lightroom Mobile or just have it on there from the Fuji directly, and then I can just pass it around. I also had my AirPods that I would keep with me at all times, but the big thing is also my backup earplugs. These are from Eargasm. I do have them linked in my storefront, but these are great. I've used them for years, and definitely like nice when you can put a little carabiner on it, just like that. So you can kind of just, I would clip it to my belt loop, so I would have them just in case like my in-ears went dead. I'll talk about those when I get to my Pelican, but these are great. I would definitely recommend these if you don't have any earplugs that you use regularly. Now that I've kind of gone over everything like that, I am going to talk about today's sponsor of the video, and it's no one. It's me. It's your boy. So with that being said, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, because it helps me out a ton. Let's get this channel monetized. That's been my goal for a few years, and I haven't really worked on it that much. But now that I'm full-time freelance, this is going to be something that is a huge goal of mine, is to get this monetized so I can start working with more brands, start getting YouTube AdSense, everything. Just help me build the channel. But back to the regularly scheduled programming. Back to the next bag. This thing is heavy. Now, I had to carry this thing with me all the time. It's huge, it's great, but it is the Pelican 1510. I picked this thing up right before tour. I got it specifically from Color Case, and I had to expedite it because I didn't know if it would get it in time because I waited until the very last moment. So I love the green Pelican, but I love these like tan handles and latches. So yeah, I had to pay an extra, $50 just to make sure that I got here on time. But without further ado, the moment you all have been waiting for. You also cannot see any of the stuff down here. So I think it's gonna be a little bit easier if I just show you all this. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit better. I got the mesh lid organizer with the Pelican, as you can kind of see. I figured it'd be better for keeping all these small little things together, just they weren't floating around or I had to keep them in my backpack or anything like that. So I have dual charges for all my cameras. So this is gonna be my Sony, my Fuji, and my GoPro, all in here. All the batteries live there. Then this is kind of just the cleaning pocket, I guess. This is also my ND filter for my camera, but I have these wipes. They're just for cleaning the camera and the lenses and everything like that. Then over here, this is just a bunch of mounts and random things. So this is just magic arm, so I can mount certain things to it at weird angles, and just plates and stuff like that. Then down here, this is definitely something you're going to need on tour, and you're going to want to label all of your stuff. Just gaff tape, little roll is good. But then this thing right here, this is a multi-tool. This is awesome. I definitely didn't know I needed this until I had one, and it helps so much on tour. There's a lot of things that you would need this for, specifically when you're trying to put on plates from tripods or a gimbal or anything like that. This little guy right here is awesome. Then I also have just backup wires and chargers and stuff like that in there. So this next pocket really seemed to be just kind of the catch-all of just random stuff. So I have extra caps for my camera and lenses, SD cards, stuff like that. So little loose batteries, pretty much anything that I had left would go in here. So this is the meat and potatoes of it all, and as you can tell, I have a few open slots just because this is what I'm filming with. I have the Sony FX3 with the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 on it, as well as the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. I love it. This mic really got me through tour, and it really gave me crisp audio, and I currently use it for all my vlogging stuff when I don't mind having a bigger mic. Now this is my baby. This is the Sony a7 IV with the battery grip. This thing is a tank. I've used this for years. It was actually my only camera body for so many years, and it's such a great hybrid for both photo and video shooters. You can really get away with the S-Log3. The only thing is it crops in at 60 frames a second. I have reviews on this thing. I'll link them above, but yeah, this is my workhorse right here, and I would use it for all the photo, and I would have it spec'd for photo just during the show, so I would have two cameras going at once. In it, I was talking about this earlier, but I have CF Express cards that are for Sony. I use these because they're faster, and I was, lucky enough to have two of these that I can have one in my a7 IV and then one in my FX3 just for the sake of speed. And when I tell you they are way faster than any V90, telling the truth there, it definitely saves time post-show. And then as we kind of go into this corner, this was just a catch-all for some random cameras that I had. This is the original Osmo Pocket from DJI. I didn't really use this as much, but I really kept it more for just like time lapses and stuff like that. But this thing is still awesome. I love it even, 5-6 years later. Next, the GoPro Hero 12 Black. I love this thing. My first camera ever was a GoPro Hero 3 Black. I just use this for a few other things, similar to the DJI where I used it for time lapses and stuff like that, but I also wanted to try and get some random shots with mounts and stuff like that. In here, I have my in-ear earbuds. These things allowed me to plug into a pack so I could hear the talkback from the artists and everything like that while on stage. And I would get call outs specifically from the crew if anything was happening where it was worth me catching a fan or something like that. Now, this next thing is a weird lens that I had my buddy Nikolai 3D print. So it's actually 3 disposable lenses in just next to each other, and he 3D printed the housing for it and everything like that. But what it does is take basically 3 pictures at once and stitches them all together, and then it goes like this. I'll put some examples on the screen right now. But yeah, this thing is just a weird little lens that you kind of get some, fun BTS with. Then the next lens that I had in here is the Sony 11mm f1.8. As you can see, it's kind of worn, but this is from my buddy Jayhawk. I use this thing every day. I swap between this and my Sigma 24-70 just on the cameras. This was awesome, but because it is a crop lens, you do get a vignette around the corners. So, and I'll actually show you guys what that looks like. Just hang on one sec. So as you can see, this thing is super wide and you get the vignette kind of all around the corners. I don't know why I looked away. It's right here, but it has the vignette around the corners. So I would end up punching in kind of like this, but the look you would get sometimes, it almost mimics a fisheye, but it is because it's a crop lens and it's not a full frame. So that's the only reason that it does this kind of effect. It is something that the effect is cool from time to time, but did I use it all the time? No, not really. It would just served as a wide angle lens because I didn't have a 16-35. I might pick that up just because I do have a fisheye, which I'll show you guys in a sec. But the 16-35 is definitely something that I'm trying to decide if I want to pick up this lens and return this one to Jayhawk, or if I want to pick up the 16-35. Okay, so the next thing is this camera strap from Sony. It's just a generic one. I would use this if I was just going to be taking one body, if we had a pop-up or something like that. And you'll see that I have these little guys. This allows me to just have a quick release with the camera strap so I can switch between, the A7 IV, the FX3. I have it on both, so it makes my life really easy. But then we have this tank. This is the Sony 70-200 f2.8. It's the Mark 1 G Master. This thing is so heavy compared to the Mark 2, but I love this thing and it allowed me to get a lot of tight shots, but also shots from front of house where I could punch in and still get a really good frame. Next is the fisheye that I was talking about. It's the TT Artisan. This thing is sick. It's just a manual lens, so I didn't really use it all that much because I had the 11mm, but this thing is great. It's definitely serving a purpose, but I just don't use it all that much. And next to it, I have these clamps from Small Rig that I would just kind of use to get some unique perspectives with that magic arm, but again, didn't use them all that much. It was just nice to have. Next is the blower. This is something that you really just you need whenever you're changing lenses or anything like that, just so you don't get the dust on your sensor. All right, so after that, I have the Rode Wireless Go 2 mics. They're in here. They're actually just charging right now, but I brought these just in case we ever wanted to do any mic'd up stuff. We didn't end up using them, but it was nice to have just in case. And lastly, I have the Godox V860 Mark III. This thing is awesome. Sometimes it was a little overpowering, but it definitely serves its purpose. It's super heavy, so when I would have it on my A7 IV, the rig itself was just really heavy. Nonetheless, it was still great. I love this flash. I would definitely try and get something smaller if I really wanted to, but really good flash nonetheless. Okay, so that's kind of it for what I would carry inside my bags into the venues, but there were a few things that I would carry into venues that just wouldn't fit in my bags. The first of which is this Benro monopod. This thing is awesome. I would use it a lot of times to get shots high above the crowd, and I would really just super extend this thing and hold it up just to remote trigger some shots, but this thing was awesome. Next is my old Ronin gimbal. This is the Ronin S, I believe. I bought this so many years ago, but it's one of the first, if not the first model of this series. Still holds true. Would I recommend getting this one? No, probably not. Just buy the new ones. They're half the weight and they work a lot better. But this thing worked in a pinch. It worked just fine, honestly. But this is just another thing that I would use randomly throughout the tour. Lastly, I did have one tripod that I took with me all the time. I didn't use it that much. Honestly, I used it more for like personal vlogging, like just when I was in hotels or steady shots or anything like that, or just the crew photo at the end of tour. But that's pretty much all I used it for, honestly. It was nice to have. It did get banged up, so I actually need to buy a new one, but it's a cheap one that I've had for, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Pretty much since I moved to Chicago, this is the tripod that I've had. That pretty much wraps up talking about all the gear that I took with me on tour. Now, I do want to make like another video talking about my tour experience. I did vlog just a little bit along the way. It ended up getting really hard to just kind of keep up with personal content. So the only thing that I was really posting was just photos. But I did vlog just a little bit along the way. So it is something that I'll do that after the fact. But I wanted to keep this one very specific to gear just because I felt like it was a really good video for people looking for tour advice. That's the kind of video that I would look for, was just like, what are they taking on tour with them, just gear wise. So yeah, I definitely just wanted to make this specifically for gear, but there are going to be more videos to come. And now that I am full-time freelance, I plan on making content way more. I have the time for it. This is definitely just the video that I wanted to make, talking about the gear that I brought on tour and what I did use, what I didn't use, and all the things in between. So that being said, I am going to wrap the video here. And if you aren't subscribed, first of all, what are you doing? Second, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and throw a comment down below. Let me know what you want to know about tour, if you have any questions about it, if you have any questions about gear, or like why I didn't bring certain things, or why I brought certain things and just didn't really use them. So I would love to hear your guys' perspective and answer any questions you guys may have. That being said, I will catch you in the next video, hopefully very soon. Peace.